Winchester closed its New Haven factory in 2006. Marlin closed in 2020. The craftsmen who built these rifles are gone, and the lever actions they left behind just sold for over $500,000. These 10 are the ones every American must own and never sell. The number one lever action on this list sold at auction for over $558,000. If you own one of these and you don't know what it's worth, stay until the end, because the people who sold without knowing lost more money than most people make in a year. Number 10, Henry Big Boy, current production. America's most popular lever action today, and the first-run configurations are already building a collector floor. Henry. Repeating Arms is the only major American lever-action manufacturer building rifles entirely in the United States today, and they say so on every barrel. The Big Boy's brass receiver is the most visually distinctive element of current production lever guns, and the platform's American-made identity has driven sales in a way that few production firearms achieve. Henry sells every rifle they can build. The Big Boy isn't a collector piece today in the way the historical rifles on this list are, but Henry has already produced limited editions, steel receiver variants, color case-hardened configurations, wildlife commemoratives, that are trading above retail on the secondary market within months of release. The pattern is identical to what drove Winchester and Marlin premiums in their early decades. A respected American manufacturer producing limited configurations that disappear faster than buyers expect. The collectors who own the right Henry Big Boy configurations today will be the ones telling this story in 20 years. Current retail runs $900 to $1,100. First-run limited editions, already above retail. Number 9. Marlin 336, pre-Remington, pre-2009. The rifle that outsold Winchester and the original factory is gone forever. Marlin produced the Model 336 from 1948 until Remington acquired the company in 2007. And what happened next is one of the most documented quality collapses in American firearms history. Remington moved production from Marlin's North Haven, Connecticut facility to their Ilion, New York plant. Fit, finish, and function all declined. The gun community coined the term "remlins" for the post-acquisition production, and it was not a compliment. In 2020, Remington itself went bankrupt. Ruger acquired Marlin and has been working to restore quality, but the guns built in North Haven by the original Marlin workforce are gone. The tell is the barrel stamp. JM for John Marlin, the original company. Pre-2009 Marlin 336 with the JM stamp were $300 to $500 guns a decade ago. Today, clean JM stamped examples in .30-30 run $600 to $900. A quiet doubling that happened while most owners weren't watching. The .35 Remington and .44 Magnum configurations, produced in smaller numbers, are already at $800 to $1,200. The factory that built them is gone. The workforce is gone. The JM stamp is the authentication mark that separates the rifles worth keeping from the ones that aren't. Number 8. Winchester Model 94, pre-1964. The year Winchester changed everything, and the rifles built before that year are a different gun entirely. In 1964, Winchester made a decision that collectors have never forgiven them for. To cut costs, they replaced the machined steel components of the Model 94 with stamped sheet metal parts. The same cost reduction approach that had already damaged Winchester's reputation on the Model 70 bolt action. The external appearance barely changed. The internal quality changed dramatically. And the rifles built before that decision became, overnight, a different category from everything that came after. Pre-64 Winchester Model 94s in standard point, 30-30, configuration were $400 to $700 guns 15 years ago. Today, clean examples run $800 to $1,500, with early serial numbers and desirable configurations, pushing $2,000 to $3,000. The rifles built in the years immediately before 1964, the last of the fully machined production, are the ones that command the strongest premiums because they represent the end of an era that Winchester itself ended. The New Haven factory, where all of them were made, closed in 2006. The combination of the 1964 quality change and the 2006 factory closure puts pre-64 Model 94s in a scarcity category that keeps tightening every year. Number 7. Winchester Model 1892. John Browning's compact lever design and Hollywood's most filmed rifle. When John Browning scaled down his Model 1886 action to handle pistol cartridges, he created the Model 1892, a lever action so smooth and fast that it became the default rifle for Hollywood westerns for the next 100 years. John Wayne carried a Model 1892 in nearly every film of his career. It appeared in more westerns than any other firearm in cinema history, often modified to fire blanks faster than any real rifle could cycle. The cultural imprint of the 1892 on the American concept of the lever-action rifle is as significant as any mechanical achievement. Original Winchester Model 1892s in standard configuration were $500 to $800 guns a decade ago. Today, clean original examples run $1,200 to $2,500 depending on condition, caliber, and barrel configuration. The takedown variants, which break into two pieces for transport, are already $2,000 to $4,000 in excellent condition. Rare calibers like .2 5-20 and .32-20 push higher. And the engraved examples, John Browning's design attracting the same factory engraving that made Winchester's other models valuable, are five-figure guns when documentation is present. Winchester's New Haven closure ended 1892 production for good. The only new 1892s available are foreign-made reproductions that carry none of the original's collector value. Number 6. Winchester Model 1886. The first Browning/Winchester collaboration, and the big bore lever that changed everything. In 1883, a young gunsmith from Utah named John Moses Browning walked into Winchester's New Haven offices and offered them a lever-action rifle design. Winchester tested it, recognized immediately that it was superior to anything they had built, and paid Browning $8,000 for the patent. The Model 1886 was the result. The first lever action, strong enough to chamber the powerful cartridges that single-shot rifles had previously monopolized. It opened the lever-action market to big game hunters who had previously had no choice but to use break-action or bolt-action designs. The Model 1886 was Winchester's statement that lever-action technology had reached maturity, and it marked the beginning of one of the most productive partnerships in firearms history. Browning would go on to design the 1892, 1894, and 1895 for Winchester. Original Model 1886s in standard configuration were $1,000 to $1,500 15 years ago. Today, clean examples run $2,500 to $5,000 in common calibers, with the big bore configurations .4 5-90, .50 110 Express, pushing $5,000 to $10,000 for excellent original examples. The 1886 Deluxe with factory engraving, documented by Winchester's factory records, is a 5- to 6-figure gun. It was the rifle that started the Browning partnership. The collector market has never forgotten that. Number 5. Winchester Model 1876, Theodore Roosevelt's best weapon, the president's rifle, and the most documented Roosevelt firearm outside a pistol. In 1881, Theodore Roosevelt ordered a consecutively numbered pair of Winchester Model 1876s, his personal hunting rifles. Years later, he described the Model 1876 as the best weapon I ever had, and credited it specifically with enabling the hunting accomplishments that defined his early Western years. That endorsement from the most firearms-literate president in American history is documented in his own writing, in the Winchester factory records, and in the historical literature on Roosevelt's ranching years in North Dakota. Standard Winchester Model 1876s in honest field condition were $800 to $1,500 a decade ago. Today, clean examples run $2,000 to $5,000 depending on caliber and configuration. The .50-95 Express configuration, the most powerful cartridge, the 1876 chambered, pushes $4,000 to $8,000 for excellent original examples. But the piece that matters most to the collector market is any Model 1876 with documented Roosevelt provenance. A letter, a photograph, a shipping record connecting it to his Dakota Territory ranch. The Roosevelt pair is in institutional custody, but Roosevelt owned many rifles. The ones that surface with documentation have no reliable price ceiling. Number 4. Marlin Model 1893, pre-1936. The rifle that competed with the Model 1894 and just sold for a world record $352,500. In 1893, Marlin launched a lever action designed to compete directly with Winchester's Model 1894, the rifle that would become the best-selling lever action in history. The Model 1893 incorporated L.L. Hepburn's side ejection feature, which allowed the use of top-mounted telescopic sights in a way that Winchester's top-ejecting 1894 couldn't accommodate. It was a genuine technical innovation, and it gave Marlin a meaningful advantage in the hunting rifle market. Approximately 900,000 were produced between 1893 and 1935. Standard Marlin Model 1893s in working condition were $400 to $700 guns a decade ago. Today, clean examples run $800 to $2,000 depending on condition and configuration. But the top end of the market tells the real story. A special order Marlin Model 1893 engraved by Conrad Ulrich, one of the most celebrated firearms engravers in American history, sold at Rock Island Auction in August 2025 for a world record $352,500. That number established the Marlin 1893 as a legitimate six-figure collectible, which changes how the entire market prices the platform. When a gun sets a world record, every example below it gets repriced upward. Number 3. Winchester Model 1873, one of 1,000. The rarest production Winchester ever made, and fewer than 136 survive. In 1875, Winchester introduced a marketing program unlike anything the firearms industry had attempted before. They offered to select the most accurate barrels from standard Model 1873 production, test them individually, and stamp the phrase, "one of 1,000, on those that exceeded a specific accuracy standard. The price was $100, 5 times the standard rifle's price. Buyers were paying for documented, tested accuracy, not just a name. Between 1875 and 1883, Winchester produced 133 rifles under this designation, 133 across 8 years of production. The survival rate of 1 of 1,000 Winchesters is higher than most historic firearms because their rarity and price meant buyers treated them as heirlooms rather than working rifles. Approximately 100 to 130 are believed to survive today. Documented examples with the original medallion inset in the stock and the 1 of 1,000 marking on the barrel have sold at auction for $150,000 to $400,000. Unverified examples, meaning the marking is present but documentation is incomplete, still command $50,000 to $100,000 because even a potentially genuine 1 of 1,000 is worth that as a historical object. There were only 133 of them. There will never be more. Number 2. Winchester Model 1894. Early production, pre-1900. The best-selling lever action in history, and the earliest production just set a world record. The Winchester Model 1894 is the best-selling lever action rifle in history. Over 5 million produced, still in production today in various forms, the defining American deer rifle for over a century. It was John Browning's masterpiece in the lever action format, a design so fundamentally correct that it has never been significantly improved upon in 130 years of production. The .30-30 Winchester cartridge. It was designed around remains the most popular deer hunting cartridge in North America. Of the first 353,999 Model 18 94s produced before the turn of the century, only 336 were factory-engraved rifles, and fewer still included precious metal inlays. A John Ulrich-engraved and gold-inlaid special order Winchester Model 1894 takedown rifle set the world record for a Winchester lever action when it sold at Rock Island Auction in December 2025 for $558,125. That record establishes the ceiling, but the floor is equally important. Standard early production Model 1894s with pre-1900 serial numbers in original condition were $600 to $1,000 guns 15 years ago. Today they run $1,500 to $4,000. The engraved examples are in a completely separate conversation. When the world record setter is a lever action, every lever action in the collector market gets a second look. Number 1. Winchester Model 1873, first year, 1873 production, the gun that won the West, and the first year examples are the founding artifacts of American lever action history. In 1873, Winchester introduced the rifle that would define the American frontier. The Model 1873 chambered pistol cartridges, .44-40, .38-40, .32-20, meant a frontiersman could carry a single caliber of ammunition for both his revolver and his rifle. That practical decision, more than any mechanical feature, made the Model 1873 the dominant firearm of the American West. Billy the Kid carried one. Jesse James carried one. Pat Garrett carried one before he switched to the Colt that killed Billy the Kid. The Buffalo Bill Wild West show made it the most recognized rifle in the world. It is the gun that won the West. Not as a marketing slogan, but as a documented historical fact. First year 1873 production rifles, serial numbers in the first few thousand, manufactured in the year the model was introduced, are the founding artifacts of American lever action collecting. Standard first-year examples in original condition were $2,000 to $4,000 guns 15 years ago. Today, documented first-year examples run $5,000 to $15,000 depending on caliber, configuration, and condition. The 1 of 1,000 variant from the 1873 platform, separately cataloged above, represents the absolute summit. But any 1873 with a verifiable first-year serial number, original finish, and intact markings is a piece of American history that exists in a fixed and shrinking supply. Winchester made them for 26 years. The first year is the year that matters, and the people who found first-year 1873s in estate sales 20 years ago and paid $800 for them are not selling. 10 lever-action rifles. The most accessible on this list is a current production Henry that's already building a collector floor. The most valuable is the founding artifact of the American West, and it just set a world record at $500,000 when the engraved version went to auction. Every single one of them is becoming harder to find in original, unmolested condition with every year that passes. Two things. First, if you own a Winchester or Marlin lever action, any model, any year, look at the barrel stamp before you do anything else. The JM stamp on a Marlin and the pre-64 serial range on a Winchester are the two most important pieces of information in the entire collector lever action market. Most people who own these rifles don't know what those markings mean. You do now. Second, do not sell any lever action without a specialist assessment. The difference between what a pawn shop will offer and what a collector will pay for the right configuration is often 5 to 10 times the pawn shop number. One phone call to a reputable auction house costs nothing and can save you thousands. Winchester closed in 2006. Marlin closed in 2020. The craftsmen who built these rifles are gone. Every lever action they made is now part of a fixed and shrinking supply. The people who understand that are holding. The people who don't are selling. Make sure you know which side of that transaction you're on. Comment below with which lever action you own and tell me the year it was made. And if you want to know which other American rifles are quietly becoming priceless right now, that video is right here. Share this with anyone in your family who owns an old Winchester or Marlin. That share could save them thousands of dollars.